Two veterans groups, left and right, join forces against the forever wars. Washington knew the relationship began in the most Washington way ever on the set of C-SPAN. Will Fisher, then the Director of Government Relations for VoteVets, the Liberal Political Action Committee, was tapped to with Dan Caldwell, the Executive Director of the conservative Concerned Veterans for America. It was a continuation, but then, the two found an unanticipated policy bridge, and have now gone on to work together to persuade Congress to finally revoke authorizations of military force passed after September 11, 2001, which both believe have been bent and stretched to justify wars far beyond Congress's intentions nearly 2 decades ago. I honestly did go into the interview expecting a combative conversation, Mr. Caldwell said, but when we started talking about foreign policy, it was clear there were some areas of alignment, especially on war powers. The wheels started turning. Both groups, you who are wolf to the other's sheepdog on nearly every other policy issue, you intend to share a legislative agenda this year that presses for changes to war authorization measures and an end to the United States presence in Afghanistan. They plan to more. There are only 2 vets groups in America that spend money on policies like this, said John Soltz, chairman of VoteVets. We bring a real sin. Many lawmakers believe that both authorizations are being extended well beyond their intent and now usurp the role of Congress under the Constitution to decide when the country will go to war. Yet both political lawmakers in each party have already demonstrated an increasing desire to curb Mr. Trump's decisions in Syria, Yemen, and beyond. The large increase, I think with the Democrats now in control of the House, it is much more likely we will have focused attention on pulling congressional powers away from the White House into the Congress, said Senator Tim Kaine, Democrat of Virginia, who repeatedly pushed to repeal and replace the September 11 authorization. He has written a proposal with Senator Todd Young, Republican of Indiana, that would revoke a different, lingering war authorization from the 1991 Persian Gulf War along with the 2002 Iraq War law. We see an increasing. Representative Max Rose, a moderate Democrat from New York who served in the Army in Afghanistan, is already a co-sponsor of written by Representative Barbara Lee, Democrat of California, that would repeal the current authorization for Iraq. We've given presidents of both parties too much authority to go anywhere at any time without oversight or approval, Mr. Rose said. I refuse to commit. Several other veterans said they also supported revisiting the issue. Representative Daniel Crenshaw, Republican of Texas, using the abbreviation for the authorization for the use of military force, said that Congress should be receptive to modifying such measures. We should always be. The subjects of war powers and congressional authority have long made strange bedfellows. Senator Rand Paul, but these issues have rarely had the clout of political groups like VoteVets, which played an instrumental role in pushing lawmakers to turn on the war in Iraq and spent $17 million on candidates in the last election cycle, and the Concerned Veterans for America, which has the ear of the Trump administration on veteran affairs and substantial backing by the billionaire Koch brothers, who have given millions to political races and policy fights. The Koch network has invested substantially in advancing their foreign policy vision over the past few years, Mr. Caldwell said, adding of his group, when we engage on an issue, we do it in a way where we can make the most impact. Also, Representative Eliot L. Engel, Democrat of New York and the chairman of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, has been slowly seeking to build consensus among Democrats around the contentious issue by pushing measures like the one to end American military aid to Saudi Arabia. Congress has constitutional authority over war powers, but for too long, we've ceded that responsibility to the executive branch, he said. I am working to public support for Congress asserting its authority in war powers would be very meaningful to members, said one Democratic aide, when told of the alliance between the two veterans organizations. Senator Jim Risch, Republican of Idaho and the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, has been an ally of the Trump administration, which has opposed new authorization measures. But he said that may come before his committee anyway. We may get there. In the meantime, the two veterans organizations, which took opposite sides in expensive and bruising Senate battles last year, will continue to try to destroy each other outside these matters. We might disagree on 99% of things, Mr. Soltz said, but if we agree to get that one perfect thing done, we have credibility because of our work on those other issues.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.